Good morning, Christy. Good to see you here as well. David, welcome to the call. Linda, I see your audio still coming online. And Tony, welcome to the call as well. And James, thank you for being here. You were here bright and early first thing this morning. So this is our Saturday podcast. It's the beginning of our 3 segments that we do on the masterclass. First segment is the prepping the objective, how to have a better how to be better each day by focusing on gratitude. The second section is focusing on the compass. The compass is the actual tool that provides us with a life navigation program. And the compass is this one sheet right here. We'll be going over that. That's the second segment. So each one of these segments are built in 30 minutes. The third segment is the P5 system. The P5 is prior preparation, practice, and planning produces performance. If you want to increase your performance, you just work backwards. Practicing, preparation, and planning. You do that, of course, when? Prior to the event itself. Doing it at the event or trying to do it when the objective or when the engagement is happening to you is too late. You have to be prepared, planned, and practiced ahead of time. Let me get Nisa online here. So this program is about focusing on gratitude. And there's a reason specifically that we focus on gratitude. And that is because it changes our mindset. Hi, Linda. Glad to see your audio got online.
Thanks.
Good job. Nisa, good morning. I see you online with us as well. And Tony, thanks for being there. I don't know if you're at work, but if you're there, you can jump in and say hello. Take yourself off mute and just jump in here and say, hi, it's Tony. But if you can't, if you're at work and you can't do that, that's fine as well. Thanks for being here. Okay, so one of the focuses that we're going to do here in the gratitude roundtable is always giving something that you're grateful for. So what we'll do here in just a second is we're going to give our name. We're going to tell where we're from. And I think most of us here today, nope, Nisa is from Zimbabwe, but she's in the UK. And so I was looking to see if everybody here is US today. But nope, we got somebody from the UK, somebody that's representing Europe. Good job. Europe and Africa, actually, both together. That's cool. So the next thing we focus on is name, what country you're from, and then what you're grateful for. Now, gratefulness can take 3 different angles. You can say, hey, this is something that I'm grateful for. There's an event that happened in my life yesterday, this week, or whatever. Number 2, you could say something that I'm grateful for in maybe my business, in my commercial life, and how I interact with other people. Or number 3, you could say, I'm grateful for something that I've realized about myself, something that I've just bumped into. Maybe it was a way that I interacted with someone else. And after I looked at it after the event, I thought, wow, I really did a great job of holding up that narrative. And you're saying, whoa, Steve, you just introduced a new concept there. What is narrative? Okay. Every single one of us is operating our life from in here, and it's based on a script like a script in a play. And we are all pre-scripted to perform externally on the message and the script that we have internally. So we all have a story about ourselves. We have a story about ourselves, about the kind of character we are, the kind of performance that we do, the way that we interact with people, the kind of language that we use, the vocabulary, the way we treat people, the way we expect other people to treat us. All those things are preferences and values and interactions, but they all create our internal narrative, our internal script of what we think our identity is. Okay, so in the second and third segment of our 90-minute masterclass today, we'll talk about those parts of our identity. But how we think about ourselves from inside out is how we actually perform. So when we change the narrative in here, guess what happens to our external performance? Stays the same? No, it changes. So anytime you find something in your life that you're like, I don't like the way that works. The first thing to do when you see that action is to look internally to see, well, what part of my narrative, of my story that I tell myself on a regular basis, what part of that is causing this external action? And when you change the way you talk about yourself to yourself in here, you change the way you perform externally to the world. Does everybody get that?
Only one last.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what does that mean? What does that mean for us, each person? That means that each of us have responsibility. Why? Because our performance is how we know ourselves. So if we want to change the way we think about ourselves, then that means that we're responsible, not someone out here. It's this person inside of here, how we decide to think about ourselves, the story we decide to tell, the script that we decide to read. And if you don't like the external performance you're getting, guess what that means? You don't have to wait for other people to change. You need to change. That's why we build this masterclass. We build it in bite-sized segments. So you can take these little bites and practice them in these 30-minute segments, 90 minutes total every Saturday. But then guess what you get to do for the next 7 days? You get to tinker around with what Steve said. You get to try it. You get to test it. You get to interact with other people. You get to interact with yourself. And you get to say, oh, wow, Steve, this works. Wow, I was able to affect change in how long? Instantly. That's one thing Tony Robbins said a long time ago. He told me this 30-something years ago. Change can affect instantly. Now, once you feel that instant effect, then the question is producing that habit till it becomes automatic. So you can cause any change to occur instantly. The thing is can you continue that change? And that's where the habit process comes in. That's where we create the bearing tool that we talk about in the second 30-minute segment of creating your compass. Your compass is your path. It creates your bearing. Where do you want to go? And why do you want to go there? Why is it important for you to incorporate this new habit in your life that you have affected a new change? Why is that important to you? Because guess what? If you don't have a big enough why, what's going to happen? It won't last. Because something else that's going to happen in your life, it's going to disrupt and distract. Let's get my words correct. And when those things happen, guess what happens? You get off course. And all of us get off course. In fact, if you're a pilot, you'll already know this, but I knew a pilot one time that told me from LAX to going to Honolulu, what percentage of the time do you think he's technically off course as far as a straight GPS line? What percentage?
99.
Yeah, it's 90 plus, maybe 99, Nisa, but he told me 90+% of the time. And he's like, well, wait a second. If I left LAX and I'm headed for a beacon out in the middle of the ocean, I've only got a limited amount of fuel, and I got to get to that beacon that's sending out a signal saying, here, come to me, right? And if I get off course just a couple of degrees and I don't constantly course direct, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to all those people that depend on me called passengers? We call them family members, team leaders, our team unit, okay? You're going to crash in the ocean and everybody drowns and dies, okay? You're like, Steve, you're being melodramatic. No, I'm not. I'm not. It's the same level of responsibility. You are piloting your life, and the people that depend on your performance live or die. Their performance is a basis of whether or not you do what you're supposed to do correctly. That's why you're here training. And those people that should be here training need the training more. This is a weird thing, okay? So I am so happy that you're here today. And when you find other individuals that are like us, that are looking for solutions and trying to stay on path, how do I do this? How do I change my thinking? Because it's all about the thinking inside. Thinking about your thinking is the first step to creating a new life. You have to begin to think about the way that you're thinking, the procedures, the process, the script that we just talked about today. You're responsible for your own internal narrative. And if you don't like your outside performance, guess who's responsible to change your internal narrative to affect your outside performance? You are. It's like, everybody get that? You can't start changing and having a better life until you take 100% responsibility for where you are at. It's not somebody else's fault, okay? I don't like to use the word fault when I refer to myself, but at the end of the day, it's my responsibility. It's my obligation to myself to be the better version that I can. Why? Because the Creator gave me life. And I don't believe, in fact, I'll go to a step further. It's like, it's not even that I don't believe that it's the right thing not to do to take care of what the Creator gave us. I have a bigger responsibility. To me, it is an absolute irreverence to my Creator to not be my better version. That's how important and powerful it is. And when you have that internal into your life, then you will look at your entire life and your responsibility and obligation at a different level. So I want to give to you real quickly an opportunity to connect or to understand, why are we doing the prepping the objective like this? Why are we doing this? Hey, Pete, glad you're able to join us, brother. Good to have you online. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to actually show you why the Better Each Day program. Why does this gratitude roundtable work? And I'm going to go to the guy that gave me the original idea that has all the research. And he has a doctorate of divinity at Harvard University. His name is Sean Achor. And if you have a book that you want to add to your reading list, add The Happiness Advantage, okay? This is not just what I call cotton balls and kittens and what call soft science, okay, where philosophy gets its turn from. This is actually hard science. This is the content of why you get a 31% bump in performance when you focus on how to create a happier attitude inside of your head that comes from doing what? That comes from affecting gratitude. When you think about how to be gracious, you're thinking about how to change what you have discovered in your life recently that you want to be grateful for. Maybe it's a commercial relationship. Or number three, maybe it's something you've discovered about yourself and how you interact, okay? So before we do the gratitude roundtable here in just a second, that's gonna bump our performance, I'm gonna share a 2-minute video with you let's see, I wanna change this to share sound. And I'm gonna go right here. We're gonna watch 2 minutes with Sean Achor. Hang with me just a second.
What if you could improve your productivity by 30% without sacrificing your happiness? What if it turned out that becoming happier was actually the key? After spending over a dozen years at Harvard University, I wanted to test the latest scientific theories of happiness and performance in the business world, outside of the lab and the ivory tower. Over the past 2 years, I've traveled to speak and research in 42 different countries. And amazingly, what I found at almost all of these schools and companies is that they follow the same formula. And that formula is, if you work harder, then you'll be more successful. And if you're successful, well, then you'll be happier. What we're finding in the field of positive psychology is that this formula is broken. Part of that has to do with how we define success. Every time we're successful, we merely move the goalpost of what success looked like. So for example, if we hit our sales target last quarter, we merely change what that sales target is for the next quarter. And if happiness is on the opposite side of that success, every time you change what success looks like, happiness gets pushed over the horizon. But more importantly, what we've discovered in the field of positive psychology is that the formula is actually backwards. Our brains work in the opposite way. Happiness actually fuels success, not the other way around. If you can find a way to get your brain to become positive, your success rates will increase, and as a result, work will become more productive, enjoyable, and rewarding. So if we can change the formula, if we can reverse it, then we can maximize our brain's potential and our performance will increase dramatically. Not to mention the fact that we'll be happier right now in the present. I can imagine that you might be skeptical about all of this. Could happiness really make a difference to our work? Well, the research shows that it actually does. Let me explain.
Okay, so what did you get from watching that just then?
I recently read the book, The Happiness.
Take yourself off mute. Let's see if I can unmute everybody.
If the thing is that it's our logical thinking thinks that if we work harder, we're going to be, and we're successful, we'll be happier. But you have to be happier. It's just like, I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when this happens. You have to choose to be happy right in the present moment in order for success, or to have the marriage, or to have whatever it is that you want. When you are happy, and you're going to attract better things.
Yes. Okay. So as he was talking about how we try to have, if I do something else, then I'll be happy. Okay. So everything, you remember when you were doing your basic coding stuff in basic back in college, you have an if and then a then. So if I get this result, then I will have this experience.
Yeah.
So if I hit my first quarter results, then I will be happy. If my spouse says this nice thing to me today, then I will love them back. If my partner does their responsibility, then I will feel safe or trusted. Okay, you follow me? So there's always an if we have in our mindset. If this happens, then we get this result, which is usually a feeling. Okay. The problem with that is, like, if we have a sales target, then every time we keep moving the sales target, what happens that if I hit first quarter sales target, then I'll feel happy. Because when you get to the first quarter sales target, then you create your second quarter sales target, and you keep moving, if you want to call it kicking the can down the street. So you're constantly chasing this idea of, well, if I could just get this, then I will be happy. And guess what? How many of you actually experience happiness? We don't, because we're constantly chasing something that's a ghost. Okay. So what they did is changing the concept is, how do we flip the mind around and work it backwards? How do we move ourselves into, like you're saying, Nisa, into this present moment where you don't have to have something that's relying upon something else to experience what you're wanting to experience. So stop waiting for other people to do what you want them to do for you to be happy. Figure out what is it that you can do right now in the present moment. Not upset about what happened in the past and living with regret, not worried about whether the future will happen and expending fear and anxiety and panic about it, okay? But living in the moment right now. And how do we do that? How does Sean recommend that we get this 31% jump in productivity that he's been in front of Google and Facebook and UBS Bank Network worldwide? How does he produce that? It's about focusing on gratitude. When you focus on gratitude, you bring your mind into this present moment. It is part of the concept that I know you've all heard about called mindfulness. And mindfulness is being aware in your mind in the moment, not living in the past that doesn't even exist anymore. Okay. That is actually not the way it actually happened. It's the way you are re-remembering it. Okay. Through your paradigm, through your perspectives, it's not really the way it happened. So you might as well drop it. It doesn't help you. All it does is cause you to spend your time that you should be mindful in the present, living in reliving an event that no longer matters anymore. It can't affect your life. Or living in the future about anxiety, panic, and fear about things that have not and may not ever happen. Does it mean that you don't ever think about the future? No, because our second segment that we'll be in, and our third segment today of the masterclass, will focus on how do you take your planning tool called the compass and create your bearing. And then number 3, how do we focus on this ultimate why? Why is this? So yes, the future matters, but it's not something that you have to constantly live in. You create your bearing. Where is your pole star? Where is your due north? Where is the path that you want to get to? And then once you find it, like your Mount Everest, every climber that's been to Mount Everest says the same thing. You don't stare at the summit, or it will crush your soul because it's so difficult to get there. So what you do is you get your bearing to make sure you're straight. And then you do what? You stare at your boots. You stare at your boots. That means you do the next step that's necessary for you to move in the direction that you're aligned to go in. That's your bearing. But you don't stare at your bearing. You don't stare at your future. You get your bearing where you want to go, and then you focus on where you need to be right now. What are the tasks you need to do today, next week, next month to get to next year? And all that is aligned. That's what I'll focus on. That's what we're here for in this masterclass. So the gratitude section is us expressing and bringing ourselves into this present moment consciousness, to this mindfulness, to express what we are grateful of. And when we think about what we're grateful for right now, what it does is it affects our ability to be in the present moment and not with our mind spread between past and future. Does everybody understand that? That makes sense? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So everybody's got their mute off. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start our gratitude roundtable. What we want to do is we want to spend the next, let's say 30 seconds. If you need to go a minute, okay, let's use that as the cap. And you're going to introduce yourself, what country you're from, and you're going to tell me something that you are grateful for. That can be something that you're grateful for that's happened recently, an event. It could be something that's happened in business that you're super excited about. It could be something that you have realized about yourself that you're like, wow, this is really cool. So that's what we're grateful for. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to start off and then we'll just go first person, just jump in there and everyone just follow. So my name is Steve. I'm from the United States, and I am grateful for spending yesterday with my love. Her name is Amy. And if you don't know Amy, you haven't seen us on Facebook, then we love to have really cool experiences. It was her birthday yesterday. And so I spent some time focusing on doing some things that her inner 4-year-old really, really love. So we went to, I guess taking a 4-year-old to a winery, that doesn't really click right, but let me explain that. Okay, we went to a cool winery, had amazing mountains around it, and we had this incredible experience. It was a wonderful stone oven pizza. And then secondly, I took her to alpaca farm, and we got her 3 packages of alpaca feeds. We fed these alpacas. And then thirdly, we went to an arcade. She loves Galaga. That's her thing. And we went there and she played unlimited Galaga until we finally went and had a steak dinner last night. So that was what I'm really grateful for. So that's mine. Who's next? Jump in here. Tell us your name, what country you're from, and what are you grateful for?
I'm Linda from US.
Mhm.
And I'm first grateful always to be with you, Steve, and everything I'm reading. I'm so grateful that I got a whole year to focus on the Rubicon and the masterclass in my compass. I'm very grateful for that. But I'm also grateful personally for my 17-year-old overcoming her COVID experience, getting back into school, and having none of the rest of us in the household contract COVID. So I'm very grateful for that.
Awesome. Great. Good job there. Thank you, Linda. Who's next? Jump in here. Just turn yourself off mute. Name, country, and what are you grateful for?
Good morning. My name is Christy Tabasola. I am from USA, and I am grateful for vacations.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
getting ready to go to Hawaii tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. How cool is that? Which island are you going to?
Oahu.
Oahu. Outstanding.
Well,
Well, yeah, that's going to be great. You got to have a good time. And that's something to be grateful for, because it's something you're getting ready to do right away. So
Yes.
Next week when you get on here, you'll be able to tell us all the cool experiences of how you were surfing the pipe and all that kind of stuff too, right?
Yes, I would definitely still be here.
Right. Okay, good. Who's next? Jump in here and tell us what you're grateful for.
Hi, I'm Jim McGough, and I'm from the U.S. I'm from Wisconsin, and I'm grateful for a habit that I'm beginning to develop and get more skill in, and that's writing emails, and day by day. So this is a practice that I'm committed to and inspired to do day by day. So that's that's a habit that I'm happy about, and I want to continue. And I also am grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for the loving relationship with my wife, which seems to also grow day by day.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Thank you, sir.
I could talk more, but that's enough, I guess.
That's good. No, and that's perfect. Being grateful and starting new habits, recognizing that we're constantly should be adding new habits in our life. That's how we affect the ultimate growth in our life. So that's fantastic. So you gave something about your growth, and then grateful for the spouse that you're with. Too often we take those people that are part of our family, we take them for granted, not because we consciously think about it, but because they're always there. And so that's important. Thank you, Jim, for bringing that to our attention. Perfect. Who else wants to jump in here? Give us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us what you're grateful for.
My name is Nisa. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, living in London. And I've had unfortunately, I've had some health challenges with inflammation and fluid in my hips and knees. So I haven't been able to do certain things with my decorating. I've been decorating. So I actually hired somebody in to do the decorating. And he's done such an amazing job and taken precision in the job that he's done. And it was just so amazing. But more than that, he was just so kind, because I've been a little bit stressed, and we were just talking about health and stuff. And he was just so kind and gentle. And he says, oh, just take it easy. He's an Italian man. And he's like, just take it easy and just go with the flow, And I just thought, and it really made my heart sing, the way he spoke to me, his kindness, and how it made me feel better. And I just thought, oh my God, he doesn't even realize the effect that he's had on me,
Right.
So yeah.
Well, and that's perfect. And that's just having those individuals that come into our life that make the effect on us. And here's the deal. Not only can other individuals, and you're being gracious, be grateful for those individuals that affected you, but you also end up affecting other individuals. So one of the things I want to challenge you on, first of all, look at the chat right now. I just dropped the link in there, 2 links, okay? One of them is the entire schedule for every Saturday. So you can see all the different Zoom links in there. So if you have that PDF, you'll always have the next things to do. And I put the Zoom link because we're going to close this call here in 60 seconds, and then we're going to do the next 30-minute segment. And I know it's a little cumbersome because we have to go off and then sign back on, but each one of these are recorded. So I want to be able to give them to all of our other team members, all of our other family members that are part of the Better Each Day program that can't actually be here live. And we want to be able to give this to each one of you so that you can be part of the program. And that way you can kind of use it cafeteria style. So you can serve out of it what works for you and bite it off in little pieces. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm gonna put it in here one more time. I know, Pete, you just jumped back on here. I'm gonna give you the link for the next 30-minute segment because we're gonna be signing off here in 30 seconds and then just sign back on with the next Zoom, and it takes us to our next leg of our 3-segment masterclass that we do every Saturday. The next section is gonna be focused on how to use the compass and how to create your bearing in life and why it's important to have a mission and purpose and a big why. I want to thank each one of you for being part of Better Each Day. This is the gratitude portion. And I want to challenge you that as you go through the week, when you meet with other individuals and you touch base with them, begin your connection with gratitude and watch how the conversation changes. Watch the dynamics that change. I don't care if it's business, if it's personal, express gratitude first and watch the performance of the event jump by 30%. Everybody got to take the challenge? So next week, when we get on here, I want you to jump on here with me, and I want you to give me at least one event that you did that on. Tell me how the challenge worked, tell me what the outcome was, and tell me if you are surprised or you expected it, okay? So we're going to sign off. I'll see you back on here in 30 seconds. Use the other Zoom link that I just gave you, and I'll see you soon.